Gino Kenny.
And thanks for having this debate, very important debate in not only this chamber but obviously in the state itself. And before I want to remember Marty Fleming, whose life ended in seeking legislative change in regard to assisted dying in Ireland. Marty's incredible bravery and her fight to the highest court in the land brought national attention to the most profound decision anybody could make. Her decision was to live on her own terms, not in pain, not alone, but in dignity and surrounded by the ones she loved. Her life lives on, her memory lives on, and if she was here at this moment, she'd be willing us all on to do the right thing. I would also like to thank Tom Curran, Marty Fleming's partner, Gail O'Rourke and Vicky Phelan for their input over the last 5 weeks. I especially want to thank Vicky for her support and speaking candidly about the issue over the past number of weeks. I believe whatever the outcome is next Wednesday, this issue can no longer be shunned away in any means. I want to go through some of the stages of the bill. There are 15 parts in the bill. The Dying with Dignity Bill would change the law in Ireland and help terminally ill people control their own death when they decide their suffering is no longer bearable. At present, it is illegal for doctors and medical professionals to help terminally ill people in unbearable pain to end their own life. This bill would change that. Some people suffering from a terminal illness that will inevitably result in death face losing control over their lives and may have conditions that no longer respond to palliative care. It will allow a person who must be over 18 and suffering from a terminal illness to make a declaration to two independent medical professionals and requesting assistance to end their life. A third independent witness must be present. The person seeking assistance must be diagnosed as having an incurable and progressive illness which cannot be reversed by treatment. The medical professionals must be sure the person has the capacity to make a rational choice, that they are fully aware of the alternatives such as palliative care. 14 days after the process, the medical practitioner can administer substances to the person to assist them in their passing. This bill has safeguards and protections to ensure the person seeking help can make a decision independently and not under any duress of any kind. This bill does not allow for assisted dying in cases where the person looking for help does not suffer from a terminal illness. People suffering from depression or any other mental health issues could not access this law. People suffering from life-threatening physical illnesses could not avail of assisted dying. People of advanced age could not avail of this law. It only applies to those suffering from a terminal illness and only to adults in their full mental capacity and able to make a rational and conversant decision about their lives. Opponents of assisted dying say it would lead to a slippery slope, where the value of human life is diminished. Vulnerable groups such as the elderly and the disabled will be pressurised into availing of assisted dying because they feel they are a burden on society. In fact, in the countries and regions where laws have been changed to help people, there is no evidence that this has ever happened. Oregon, for example, has a similar law since 1997, with none of these trends observed. Other countries and regions are the same: Colorado, California, Washington, Montana, Vermont, Switzerland, the Netherlands, Belgium, Canada, Luxembourg and certain states in Australia. We want better supports and care for our elderly and those with disabilities. We want greater resources for hospice and palliative care. But there is no contradiction in supporting this and the right of people coming to the end of their lives and suffering unbearable pain. Some opponents of assisted dying, this legislation, have used completely inappropriate language to conflate suicide and voluntary assisted dying. It is wholly inappropriate and irresponsible to hold this kind of language. I do ask TDs to reflect on their positions and desist from using such language. Minister, I understand that the government are putting an amendment to this bill, and as I spoke to you a number of days ago, this will unduly delay the bill going into pre-legislative scrutiny. And I don't understand why it has to go to an all-party committee, because this has been discussed at length, even an all-party Oireachtas committee on equality and justice two and a half years ago. So I don't see the reason why it has to go down that route, and I don't doubt your sincerity, and members of TDs here from the opposition government benches, I don't doubt that 1 minute. What I doubt is that this process will be unduly delayed because of the amendment. And this debate, Minister, is extremely difficult for everybody. Everybody, regardless of what your views are. And it can be a very, very difficult debate. And I think all voices and opinions should be taken into account. But the most important voice in all this debate is the person that is in that circumstances of a terminal illness, that does not want to go through unbearable pain, and they should have a choice, because that's what this bill is about, giving people a choice where it's unbearable pain that they're facing. And I think we should support them and not vilify them. And as I said, Minister, the most important voice in this debate is the person that's in that situation. And there was a lady called Gaynor French, and Gaynor French passed away a number of years ago. And I always remember an article that she has in the Irish Examiner, and I read it today again, and there's a quote that she said, and it really kind of it said everything about this very important issue. And she says, "I have lived in dignity, now let me die in dignity." Thank you.